Hey Alex, I heard you needed help on this problem. So it says the rectangle below is divided into square regions. Using the information given, find the area of each of these regions. Is the outside rectangle a square also? So the first thing we want to start out with knowing is that all the letters are squares. And if all the letters are squares, that means both the side and the length of each square will be the same number. So this and this will be the same number. This and this will be the same number. And that's the key to finding this problem out. So now, I labeled this one H and this one I just to help us out. And if the area of that one is 81 square units, we know the same number for these two must equal 81. So we take the square root of 81, which is 9. So we know that that's going to be a 9 by 9 square. And then for I right here, the area is 64. So we need to take the square root of 64, which will give us 8. So we know that's going to be an 8 by 8 square. Okay, now it gets a little tricky. So for square A, we know that this length right here is 9. And we know that this length right here is 8. So if we take 9 from the top square minus 8 from the bottom square, it's going to give us this difference right here where they overlap. So 9 minus 8 is obviously 1, so you get a 1 by 1 square. Now for B, we know that this length right here of this square is 9. And now that we just found out A, that is the 1 square, then we add those two together to get this whole thing. So we're going to take 9 plus 1, and we end up getting 10, so we know it's a 10 by 10 square. So now for D and E, you kind of use the same concept as you keep going. So for D, we know that this whole line right here is 8, and then once we found A, we know that's 1. So we're going to take 8 minus 1 to get the whole length of D. So 8 minus 1 is 7, so it's a 7 by 7 square. Now for E, we're going to use 3 squares. So we know that 10 plus this 1 right here will give us the sum of D and E. So 10 plus 1 is 11, which we get right here. And then we know that D is 7, which we just solved for. So then 11 minus 7 will give us E, which ends up being 4, so it's a 4 by 4 square. So F is one of the easier ones in this problem. We know that this length plus this length will give us the total length of F. So we're just taking D plus I, which is 8, plus 7, and that gives us 15, so it's a 15 by 15 square. Same thing for C. We know that side B is 10 and side E is 4, right here and right here. So adding those together, we'll get side C, which ends up being 14. So it's a 14 by 14 square. And for G, for the last one, we know E plus C will equal G. So E4 plus C14 equals G, which is 18. So it's an 18 by 18 square. So to find the total area of the rectangle, we're going to add the individual areas of the squares together. So we have our squares that we all figured out, the side and length for 1 by 1, 10 by 10, 14 by 14, 7 by 7, 4 by 4, 15 by 15, 18 by 18, 9 by 9, and 8 by 8. So now we're going to find the area, which is length times width. So you end up getting 1, 100, 196, 49, 16, 225, 324, 81, and 64. And so once you add those all up, you end up getting 1,056 units squared. Make sure you label your units. It's very important. Okay, so now the second question asked, is the outside rectangle also a square? And if, in order for it to be a square, the length and width have to equal the same number. So first we're going to find length 1, which is right here. And it's going to be, you're going to add up the whole side. So 14 and 8, and you end up getting 32. And then on the other side, length 2, you have to add these three together, 9 plus 8 plus 15. So adding all the sides that you got together will give you L2, which is also 32. Now for the width, you're going to do the same thing, 9 plus 10 plus 14 to get 33, and 15 plus 18 to get 33. So if you look at this now, the width is 33 and the length is 32. So since those aren't the same number, this cannot be a square. It has to be a rectangle because the sides aren't equal. So now, to check your answer, the area of this whole thing should equal the sum that we added these ones up to. So 33 times 32 has to equal the sum. And you end up getting 1056 equals 1056. So you know you did it right. Hope this helped. Have a good day.